Well, hey everyone. I guess we're just doing this. All right. So, for those of you on the Twitter X space, welcome. It is Thursday, September 26th. And literally, I just thought it was like August. And here we are. It's going to be October soon. It's so great to see everyone here. You guys, you know that yesterday was quite the day. So many releases, so many things to talk about. And interestingly enough, there was a battle with WordPress CEO and WP Engine, but we won't get into that. It's insane everything that happened. Everything is just converging and diverging, and people are just going nuts in the tech world. But before we start, we have to sort of like set our reactions because we'll get more into that later. I do want to welcome everyone here to the Weekly Over community space. I see some of the usual suspects, which is always great to see. I'm going to do a shout out to Altered Alley. He was the first one on here. Hey, K-Bot, nice to see you. Joe. Hey, Rex. Rex was here with us. I believe, was it already 2 weeks ago, Rex, when I had you on the Tech Talk Tuesday. So if you don't know, Rex Gatling was one of our guests on Tech Talk Tuesday with Hexadized, and he actually is an XR developer. So we're kind of jelly here because he gets to play with all the latest gadgets and toys and then, like create games out of them and experiences. And he's been doing this for like over a decade now. So he definitely has a lot of experience on that. And I will drop, not some alpha, but I will announce that Rex and Hexadize and I, every third Tuesday of the month, we will have a special XR episode on Tech Talk Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. The first episode will be in October. I do want to shout out to my favorite power mapper couple, Brover and Strawberry. Thank you so much for joining. I love you guys. I don't know if you're mapping or you're just chilling somewhere in Europe, but it's always great to see you. And I know Lua, your cute little fur baby, isn't too far away. I do want to do a shout out to Second City Studio. Second City Studio. Is that the... Okay, no. I was thinking that could be the the comedy show, but maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe we'll hear from them. Big shout out to Conrad from the Xenu Mainnets community. Thank you so much for showing up. And of course, we have a new listener, a kilt called MetaBeast. a.k.a. MetaBeast. Thank you so much for joining. I know that they do really great Twitter X Spaces every Wednesdays. And I believe it's going to be, I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time or Standard Time, whenever the clocks change. But I know for me, every Wednesdays at 8 p.m. my time, a kid called MetaBeast, they actually have weekly spaces. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm going to do a shout out because Over the Reality, a.k.a. moi, and Over the Reality, we will be featured in a kid called MetaBeast next space next week. I think that's October 2. I'm not even sure about that. So before we start, please do shout out to your friends and network on Twitter, and give this space a like and a share, and let people join before we get started. Actually, I'm gonna go online. I'm also live streaming, and it's weird because I forgot to switch out not the template, but the intro outros. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me try to get other people on here. Let's just give it another minute, guys. I know I'm very, I want to be cognizant of your time, but we do have a lot to talk about. I know some people are deep talking about, I don't know what, but I want to make sure that they know that the space is open, because I know that some people are planning to join, but they're not here. So I just want to ping them. Before we do start, I'm going to just play the song again while I do stuff behind the scenes. So go ahead and share out the space. Give you guys about a minute. Thank you so much. All right, I think I did my shares, and so have you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. You know what? I'm going to invite some people to talk. I'm just going to pick because I know that there are people in this room right now that have a lot to say about the news happening. I know I do, but I want to really hear it from other people who are the AR content creators and have really delved more into the augmented reality space or XR space more than I have. And I hope they are able to speak. I'm just going to Rex, I'm calling you out. I hope you can speak. I know you're probably working or you might be en route somewhere, but I'm just going to throw you the mic anyway. I'd love to hear your take on the news yesterday. So on top of Meta announcing the prototype, okay, keyword is prototype of their holographic AR glasses. And what does that even mean, holographic AR? Yesterday at the MetaConnect 2024, I know that Over the Reality posted a little bit of a teaser saying, first they posted the teaser of the Orion, as it's called. I believe it has another name, but I can't remember right now what it is. And then Over the Reality posted another teaser saying, like, Meta announced this. And what do you think how do you think Over the Reality is going to use it? I'm going to find it and pin out the tweet. And in addition to that, of course, other people in the AR space and people who have been invited, like developers and a.k.a. influencers or tech journalists were there. And you got to see them wear the glasses and quickly write about it. Now, Matthew Ball wrote a really good article on it, and I will pin it up. I'm just like trying to get my bearings here. And so I'm looking at all the posts or tweets, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is exciting times, but guys, you do know like it's not available to mainstream. I mean, it is a prototype, and yes, they say that it has, what is it, the largest field of view. What is it, 70 degrees field of view, and it's only glasses. It's not exactly like an immersive headset, which everybody thinks it's fantastic. They say it is like the best or the best AR glasses at this time. And like I'll tell you one thing. I haven't really delved into any of the specs of any of the XR glasses out there. So I'm not really one to speak about it. But what I do know is when companies roll out these products and then they do like these events and then these teasers and then they get everybody hyped. And of course you have to get hyped, right? Because that's the way they sell the product, market the product and all that stuff. But in a way, we've been through this leg before. We know the story. You get the hype, you get everybody writing about it, being the first to write about it. So they get the likes, they get the comments, the algorithm, like gets them into they get into the algorithm. So they get more followers. They kind of like see more relevant in the space because they're writing about something that just launched, aka a prototype that was mentioned, which is that's the way the game is. But you have to take a step back and go, all right, like this is all great, but and then what? Because it's still a prototype. I believe they're releasing it to developers. I'm not sure. I guess Rex will have more on that. And in addition to even Snap spectacles, it's still not open to the public. I mean, you can say you're a developer and you can, I guess, fill out a form and you will get the spectacles and I guess the developer kit, but you have to pay $99 US monthly subscription, which is fine, right? That's fine. But all I'm saying is all these wearables, all these gadgets that are touting augmented reality and the future of and the way we are going to engage, it's not real. The only time it's here yet is when it's like as ubiquitous as a smartphone. Because if you don't know, I'm always going to go to this. When the first, I guess, mobile phone came out, it was like that big gray beige brick, right? It was like huge. It was like 1 foot long with that big black antenna sticking out. And I don't know, I was a little girl then, and I only know that the rich people and the like Chinese real estate people, that's what I saw in Toronto anyway, had those big mobile phones that was attached to like their Mercedes Benz. I'm not kidding. And then it's like only the rich had it, just like with computers. Like only like you wouldn't have a desktop at your home. Like that was unheard of until Apple made that, or Macintosh made that happen. So when everybody's talking about these devices, it's all great, but it's not going to be even here yet. And there's even like a little caveat, even Matthew Ball's article or post, you look towards the feed of his post, and he says there is a caveat, like it's not available for commercial use or for people yet. It's still a prototype. So we're all excited about all this technology. We all know where the future is heading. So let's just settle down, right? We all know where the future is heading. It's going to be AR, AI, XR, some kind of form about that. And personally, for me, I'll be excited when I have something in my hand that works and that's comfortable and that I can use at least 60%, or if not 50% of my daily activities. That's my benchmark for getting excited about like anything that launches. Mind you, I used to be all like, yeah, like this launch, that launch, tweeting about it, blogging about it, but that was like 15, 10 years ago. So I personally learned my lesson. I personally learned, you know what, I'm just gonna hold out and chill because I've been this route before. I know the same story. It's all hype and it's not in my hands yet. Whatever happened to Google Glass? Oh my God, Google Glass was such the hype, and then it's gone. And then HoloLens was such the hype, and then it's gone. What about Snap's first spectacles, or whatever they were called, where Robert Scoble, literally, if you don't know Robert Scoble, he's Scobleizer on Twitter/X. He's reinvented himself many times, but the one thing I know is he's always been at the forefront of technology, deep in the weeds, talking to the founders, the startups, getting information out. And I'm just happy for Robert Scoble that he's still deep in the trenches, and he's still quite there. And I love that. And what was I going to say about Robert Scoble? Anyway, yeah, there's that famous thing where Robert Scoble was literally in the shower with Snap's first spectacles, or whatever they were called. So if you remember history, there's always these great things, and then what happened to them, right? So I'm going to throw out some mics. Probably Rex is not able to speak. He's probably en route somewhere. I do want to do a shout out to, yes, the Derby one. Hey, Hexadize, thank you for joining. Lex, thank you for joining. Mark Zenu, Ira, it's always good to see you. Who else is here? One. Oh, one woman. Nice to see you. It's really great. So the guy's not here yet, but Dope Steelo has these Super Wednesdays in Spatial, and I know that one woman often attends every week. In addition to, she had this really great space, I guess a month ago, her art gallery, which is really fantastic, that she helped to build. And things are really shaping up in the AR metaverse virtual space. Really, they are, and it's so exciting to see what's going on. Let us bring up Rex. So glad. Hey, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
No, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining. I want to know, what is your take on yesterday's news coming from an XR developer?
Well, on both ends, not just the Orion glasses, but I would say with the MetaQuest 3S that they're coming out with, it's good that they're seeing they're making this affordable. I think that was a really big hurdle for a lot of people to get into the mixed reality space just in general. I think them lowering the price point for one, and also the tools that are available, which I'm pretty sure we'll get into later. But I'm really encouraged by that. But with the Orion glasses, I'm very hype about it. But as many have said, it is just a prototype. I think more what it did was pretty much raise awareness on augmented reality glasses, meaning now companies like XReal come into the picture, Magically, Snap, Ray Neo, Vuzix, all these companies now that have already available in the augmented reality space are now getting the kind of attention that it should and it warrants. But as I tell everybody, lower your expectations. It is just a prototype, but you can still build. You can still build with where the technology is today.
No, that's great. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. But what I'm really excited for, really, and I know Hexadized and people here who are building on Over the Reality knows is so Over is a spatial computing platform. Like literally, it's a digital layer over the whole world where you can create a geolocated augmented reality assets and experiences. And it's not just AR. With their map to earn and their 3D mapping, they're now you can now switch between a VR experience or an AR experience. We'll get more into that later. But the great thing is, when we first met Over the Reality, I think that was in 2021. There's a little history for me personally, but I won't get into it right now. I was like super excited about that because how amazing it would be to just walk around and experience another way with the physical world. Now, I know that if you have been following Over the Reality and you've been following some of our co-founders, like let's say interviews, for example, you always know that the vision of Over the Reality's co-founders, Diego Di Tommaso, the COO, and Davide Cutini, the CEO, their vision was really to augment the physical world with 3D geolocated assets. And that was really great because as much as they really saw the what is it the amazing things that a closed platform can do, like Sandbox or Decentraland. I believe it was Decentraland they were first talking about, and they really liked that whole experience. But they knew that with Decentraland and platforms like that, people are kind of like tethered to devices. They're kind of like tethered to like things like right now. I don't know if Decentraland has a mobile. I know Spatial there's a mobile app, but Decentraland, it's a browser. So what Diego and Davide wanted to do was, well, let's augmented reality is the future, and so let's build out a platform where to prepare for that. And so they did. And what they did know is, instead of using like these bulky VR headsets, everybody has a mobile phone, right? Everybody. So it's perfect. But what we're excited about is that, you're right, Rex. It's this whole the Meta's news, Snap's news. You're right. It's bringing more. It's bringing augmented reality and the thought of augmented reality to the masses or mainstream, and there's going to be more hardware devices that are going to be built for that, because Apple's going to come up with something else. Like they're all these, right? But the great thing is, it's just so much more to be plugged into over spatial platform. That's what's so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, because just seeing the reaction just on Bloomberg, CNBC, and a few other news outlets just about it, now you're starting to see more of corporate America now really paying attention to it, because when the headset first came out, they were saying it's great for games, it's great for kids, but where do we fall into this? Like, how can you how can I make my business more efficient? Or how can I do my job more efficiently? A lot of the tools that they showed on them, not just with what they were going to talk about with the Orion glasses, but with the headset as well. They really showed that you can merge, you can really multitask. Let's say playing a game while still getting some work done in a headset, which pretty much in a way kind of takes the elements of what you have on a laptop and put it in a headset. Now, I do think that the glasses are gonna have the same effect. And I mean, even looking at companies like XReal, a lot of that's already possible to be able to do a lot of work in your glasses already. I use it a lot of times to knock out emails. I even tried to use something of like a rough Microsoft Excel, try to merge it with a web browser type of thing, but it wasn't really that successful. But it's going this direction. I think companies are following suit, and popular news outlets are now really saying, okay, we can buy into this because you can use these everywhere. You don't have to be at home. You don't have to, be in the office. You can do all of this simply by going about your regular day life with the glasses on.
No, that's great. I'm going to ask a question. So, as a developer and a creator, right? Um, when you get a developer kit for, like, let's say, a device, what are your first? What is your process? Like, do you create? Do you have the device to test out all the? Of course you do, but do you have something in mind, like what you exactly want to build for it?
Yes. So the way I do it is I look at what's the glasses for? Is this specifically for consumer or is it for enterprise? If it's for consumer, I start to look at okay, what's already out there on the mobile app first, because that's where a lot of the great ideas can come from, where like you already use a lot of these mobile apps. See how you can take that same concept and put it into a consumer application. Sorry, to a augmented reality application in the glasses. That's really my process. I start with basic shapes and cubes to pretty much prototype scripts, functionalities, all those things. But I really just start with what's already out there, and then also brainstorm ideas that may not have been done yet. But really, the best way to start is what you already know, which is the mobile app store. Everyone has a phone, as you say. So that's really the first place that I start, because it's already been done.
Oh, okay, okay. Now I know I had a conversation with Tech Mental behind the scenes and yesterday, and he was actually, I'm going to try to draw it up. I think he did a tweet to someone. Let me get it. I think it was Matthew Ball. Let me check. What did you say, Tech Mental? Uh I know I'm like doing so many things. He kind of like asked a question from a creator perspective, right? And I wish, oh, here it is. So what he said was, okay, it was actually Nicholas Sutrick, who was at Meta Connect 2024, or I think you might even know him. He is at Guanatu. So
Okay.
he was there. Nicholas was there, and like giving out his posts about what his first reactions were with Orion, and then what Lex said was, he's hopeful. He goes, I'm hopeful, but also thinking about how they should be a universal mixed reality network. Now, this is talking about Orion, where peripheral developers and AR creators can converge outside their proprietary boundaries, allowing for the unboxing of virtual worlds that we're designing for consumers to discover.
Correct.
Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the direction that Meta's trying to go, because they understand everyone's not going to build the next Uber for augmented reality glasses. Many people are creators that are in Horizon Worlds, VR Chat, that want to be a part of this or have a stake in this, particularly for augmented reality glasses. So I would say I believe it's going this direction. That's actually good, to be honest with you. And I think as a content creator now, you can prep yourself for that, because really same reason why a content creator posts every day on Instagram, TikTok, even on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, but the same way you do that now, you'll be able to do in a virtual world. But besides it being like a static ad, it'll be a virtual experience. It'll be you discussing a product or virtually trying on a product, and of course it would be pre-recorded, but it would be a virtual experience that someone can view in their glasses of you selling that product or selling that service, or pushing this particular marketing campaign. But yeah, absolutely, I 100% agree with that. I think it's trending in that direction.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Hey, Lex. Welcome to the speaker stage. Virtual stage. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, good. Enjoying the conversation. What's up to everybody in the room? Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Sorry for the wind chime. behind me. There's just like a Category 3 hurricane in the Gulf, and I just kind of enjoying the wind right now. But yeah, a lot of amazing information has come out in the last week or so, and rightly so, right? Kind of overdue, right? From the creator side, waiting for everybody to kind of get their stuff together. So yeah, Nicholas, as so many people have been kind of posting, their experiences with the glasses and what they saw and what they heard, and I've seen little videos of Zuckerberg kind of really avoiding the term augmented reality, really avoiding the term AR. And I saw the same thing from the Apple guys when they pushed the whole Apple Vision Pro narrative. Like they don't want to touch that. They're tiptoeing, right? And I, coming from a creative background, it's like I remember. I'm that old. When Apple used to push for the art guys, the art girls, the art movement, the art studios. That's not a thing anymore. They've become more of a leisure kind of like, hey, you could be cool and still be IBM kind of thing, which I understand, right? That's where the money's at. That's where the numbers at, right? So just to and thanks. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody. If I already said that, a little brain fog here, but. To go to the conversation, when Nicholas kind of posted his glasses, which they do look cool, a little thick around the eyes, but they look pretty cool. I would love to test these guys. I said, pretty cool. But is it capable of accessing GeoPin AR assets outside of the Meta Platforms network? That's how I started the conversation. And I don't know this person. I kind of read about him. He seems pretty cool. I wish he was in this room. And he replied, pretty quickly. I think that kind of question is a little early yet, but I imagine it'll be open up to other stuff when there's a consumer unit. Mm-hmm. So I like that answer. I like that answer because he recognizes what I'm talking about, where I posed the same question for the last couple of years to other people, and they're like, what do you mean? Right? So this guy understands what's going on. And in return, I wrote, I'm hopeful, but I'm also thinking about how there should be a universal mixed reality network where peripheral developers and AR creators can converge outside the proprietary boundaries. In other words, which is a question I want to have for everybody in here who's creating, for everybody who's experimenting, for everybody who's understanding, what we're trying to get at. Like, I understand that, Mike, Bob, and Sue, and Maria, and everybody else are working, getting Excel spreadsheets and getting their decks ready and getting their proposals ready, and there's all that stuff. But it's also like, I want to start seeing some advertisement from everybody, from the big guys, from X-Reel, from the little guys, showing the creative person, showing the little girl learning how to color, showing the guy working, on this stuff, like not forgetting about the creativity, forgetting about that. Like, I don't see that anymore in any advertisement. It's always the dude on his way to, which is cool because we're all that as well. We're the people who do the business, meetings and the decks and stuff, but we're also the ones that design your advertisement. We're the ones who really get stuff out there and say, hey, I feel like that. And I'm just speaking on my behalf, right? Like, hey, what about us, right? So again, I'm hopeful, but I wanted to kind of bring up, and I don't want to side topic, but is there, and I'm asking you, Rex, appreciate your time and experience. Do you think there's going to be, or is there a middle lane where almost like a testing ground, right? Where whether it's, X-Reel or Meta Platforms or Apple or any of these people, right? Snap can start, let's say if they send, the people in here, okay, yeah, test this out in Art Basel, or test this out, in Austin or whatever. And where we can go ahead and test our assets, which are already out there, that we've had for months, for years, where it's not consumer grade, but it's developer grade. Right. Where we know whether it's IRA or Hex or Alter, they have, all these assets that they have to export depending on what device you're going to use, right? There is a general, universal, export file format for those 3D assets. So I believe there should be one for our AR assets where whether it's the one you're promoting or whatever's promoting that can meet and converge on that middle lane where we can see our stuff. And I'm wondering, does that exist today? And do you think that's something that, that we can, I don't know, make happen, with the forces that we have,
I don't see that yet. But one thing I will say is that I think that's very, very much needed, because it needs to get to the point where it reaches everybody. Meaning, like, it can't just be at a corporate level. It can't just be at a consumer level. It has to reach everybody. And I think companies like XReal, Snap, Meta, when they do release Ryan glasses, I would like to see also is that what are some practical examples? I mean, like, make it practical to the everyday creative. The everyday creative isn't always going to a job. The everyday creative isn't always using it to go buy something. Most of them are using it to create something. So show some use cases of them creating things. Meaning, from the standpoint of don't just give it. And I kind of wish this was the way that they did it, but of course, it's not in my control. But I kind of wish they went the direction of not just put it in the hands of a developer, put it in the hands of a creative, because without you guys, us as developers don't know what to create. Because, yeah, we can do our market research, we can do all these things, but it really just comes down to the creative person when they get a piece of technology to make the technology something. And I think that companies like Snap, because they're traditionally making Snap lenses, which is kind of on the side of what you're talking about, I think they do a great job of it. But as far as the other companies, I haven't seen that yet. But I do think that because they're at the level where they have to make a developer kit, they can't target that yet. That's. I hope that kind of answers your question.
No, absolutely. And it's not even about answering, right? It's about adding to it. And you have, absolutely. And you understand. Because I'm going to be real. When it comes to art, when it comes to graphics, I have, if you wanted to call it a third eye or whatever, I can tell when something's Photoshop. I can tell when something's AI. I can tell. I mean, it's my backbone. It's my, it's just the way I've learned how to look at things. And the stuff that these lenses are putting out, like, oh, look, the stuff that you can do. I mean, that looks like baby Legos. It's like, I mean, you got real, like, you got heavy hitters. Look at this room right here. And everybody that we're connected to, like, we got real stuff that can make the device that's not up to par look better. Where it's like, go over the fence, go, and like, even, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. It's like, there's real art here. And it doesn't have to be like the squiggly wiggly monkey or the punk or whatever, the emo giraffe, the cool llama, at the end of the bar. I'm talking about like real environment, real graphics that could be real good use cases for a market that's not being tapped, but when it comes to portfolio, it is, well endowed. So just as a developer point of view, when it's, I wish somebody would just kind of pass that note under the door and say, hey guys, I mean, this is cool, but for this next device, I think we should kind of tap over here and bring this art in here and bring this type of use cases, because that's a market to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say this just based off of what I just with the amount of time that I've been developing apps for AR glasses, is that just the timeline, they usually start with the developer community first, because they look at them as the guys that are going to put the apps together for them to be able to then go mass market when it reaches the level they can make it affordable to the consumer. I think that has worked to a certain degree, but also I think it's fallen short sometimes, because we don't have an artist. We don't have it in the hands of someone who's a creative. We don't. and it goes right to a developer who, yeah, they understand the technology, they understand Unity, they understand Unreal Engine, how to build things, how to build applications that may be useful, yeah, but it's also that it needs to be practical to the everyday person, and I think that that's an area of improvement that I would, if I'm able to, hopefully I'll try to do my part if I, with a little bit of influence that I have, which is not much, but to say, hey, put it into the hands of a YouTuber, put it in the hands of a content creator on TikTok, put it in the hands of those guys and see what they do with it, or just do this, put it in the hands of a TikToker, but also have a developer with them helping them build it. I think that would be the best way to do that, where they would team up with a developer to take their content, put it into augmented reality, and it would give them it would really help both sides, I believe.
Wow, I love this conversation. I know, like, there's a lot of people here, especially the content creators, where they're giving you guys the thumbs up, the fist bumps, the hearts. I really love it. So we are like past 30 minutes into the hour, and I do want to thank everyone for being here and staying here. I have thrown out some of the mics. I see Elias. I just want to do a shout out to people who have joined. Elias, thank you for joining. Hi, Gabe. I see you're here for your homie Tech Mental. Hey, Alex, our head of community management in Over. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad to see you. We have Ernesto who joined. Swavery, hello. The Moody, you're here. I know I saw you here earlier, but I forgot to shout you out. Sorry about that. Marius is here. Rooney Yak and SF Sane. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we are here with the weekly Over community space, and we are talking about augmented reality, but more importantly, the whole aspect of like putting it in the hands of the creators and developers, and probably the creators and developers should have some type of working relationship or collaboration for these things. I do want to say something. You know what's interesting, Rex? So in terms of being a developer, knowing Unity and all these other 3D modeling softwares, what's interesting to me is you have these creators now who are taking it upon themselves. Well, I guess that's what you need to do, right? To learn Unity, to learn Blender, to learn these things so that they can keep creating. And I guess they just don't know that the developer side of it. So what you brought up and what Tech Mental brought up, it totally makes sense. And you're right. Everybody here in this room, you're a developer, and there's a slew of creators in this room right now, like who are doing a hell of a lot of things, like fantastic things, and not Lego looking things. I love Lex's what is it, analogy? Like they're like looking.
Listen, I shout out to Lego. That was my start. My bad.
No, I totally get that. No, I totally get that, because yeah, like okay, I'm gonna say this: there is Second Life, the beauty of their photorealistic avatars, and then there's Minecraft, and then there's Roblox. So you have all these in betweens, right? And it's not that we're dissing anything. It's just, it is what it is. I know Alex is laughing. It is what it is. It's almost like humans. You have the real beautiful. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But there's.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's almost like if you can look back at how the interface of TV programs, at least in the United States, right? And how it's changed over the years. If you look how a baseball game was transmitted in the 60s, in the 70s, 80s, if you ever want to look at back and just, you can Google this, YouTube it, and see how the interface changed. It changed with time. The interface today is amazing. Like you could literally, a couple of years ago, I tested T-Mobile's AR. I was actually looking at the All-Star game, in AR, and as if there was a ball hit home run, you'd see the ball. I had the entire stadium on my desk, and I would see the ball come out of the stadium. Like, they're testing to see, only 50,000 people logged on to that. I'll bet you, they did, and to me, that's a really good number, because soon that's how we're going to be seeing games. where we're going to see who got the ball outside of the stadium, which we can't see now. I mean, soon you're going to tell me that those $2,000 seats that are not being sold on the front row of Yankee Stadium are just going to go there. No, they're going to end up putting a VR headset there where I can't be there to see, them lose or them win from Miami, but I want that seat. I want to pay for the VR, like the real sitting there where I can see, this beautiful blonde to my right and this guy that's already drunk in the first inning to my left, right? And then a ball hit me, like that is a real experience through VR. I mean, that's where we're going to. So when I meant, Legos, yeah, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're probably not dealing with Legos unless you have a kid and you're dealing with Lego Mindstorms, which is a whole other topic, which is super dope. But I'm talking about the actual quality and the level of the build. I feel like the advertisement I've been seeing from a lot of these, XR lens are like, why are they showing it like that? It just looks like not even Photoshop level 1. It looks like my first Lego, like my first logo set, that kind of stuff. And Rex, I just want to back up a little bit. And you said something super important. I don't want it to go under the bridge. You said from an inside point of view that the people in the executive, the people behind the doors are not creatives, and I know this firsthand because you could be a developer and not be creative, but you are super creative in being a developer. I will never take that away. Coders are coders, and very seldom do you have a coder that's also a designer, that's also all that stuff, but I've been firsthand with I've had to sit there and they bought my time and everything, and I've had to explain to the new executive of this particular XR company and talked with them about what's in my head and how I see, things moving ahead. And this person had no idea what I was talking about because he was just brought over from a sneaker company. And I'm like, why are you here? I asked him, like, why are you here? He's like, well, I got hired and I got a contract. But this guy knows nothing about where we come from, where we at, and where we're heading. So definitely creatives need to be interjected into the conversation, where it's like, okay, it's not just about building websites anymore. It's not about that. It's about creating experiences outside where, hey, you didn't get tickets for the game? That's fine. There's an actual, AR, VR experience happening right here, right outside the game where you could still be part of the game, And we have the developers, the aesthetic developers, in this ring to provide that.
And I gotta say this. About that point when you said about the experience. Now more than ever, it used to be everyone talks about experience from a mobile app perspective and a web perspective, like going through the whole process from when you log in all the way to when you log out. This is now, at this point, with augmented and virtual reality, experience is so important. And this is why creative needs to be a part of it. Because here's the thing that an augmented, mixed in virtual reality experience is graded on. It's graded on the perspective of how long can someone stay in this experience and what is going to keep them in there for a certain long period of time. Now, after the first login, to win whatever the app does, when you do it, when it's completed, okay, what is going to keep them there? What is going to keep them coming back?
The bounce rate. Right. It's still incentives. It's a bounce rate. That's what advertisers want to know. That's what investors want to know. How can we keep that bounce rate down? That's search engine 101, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And with augmented reality, particularly with the glasses, a little bit there, and I would say it's more kind of critical with the headset because of the nature of the device. You need creatives who can make the experience so like engaging, where to the point where it's almost as if they're literally forgetting that they're in a virtual world, or that they're experiencing this on the go, on the way to work or something like that. Like, it's that needs to happen, and I think that we can't use the same old ways of, okay, we build the app, build the value proposition, and then that's it. Okay, that may work for the first 100, 200, 300 downloads, but you're not gonna have that retention, to me, without a creative. And I think that's where yes, start with giving it to the developers, but we really need creative people who understand design, who understand words, who understand like really catchy words or what's trending, because what's trending is what's gonna, because they have to post on what's trending, and us as developers, we try to build for that, but we can't build for that if we don't know it. So that's the reason why I say experience is really important.
Wow, I'm loving this conversation. And I know, well, I hope everybody else here is too. Some people are really silent, but I guess they're just taking it all in. And yeah, this is a really great time. What a great time to be living right now. We are at the verge of so many things. It is insane. And I'm loving this conversation. I'm just so happy for everybody who staying on here, and I'm really loving it. I do want to welcome Hexadized onto the yay, hey Hex, onto the speaker stage. Hex. How are you?
What's happening, everybody? I am in the front. We're moving things around. Give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I love this guy. Yeah, he's laughing. Why are you laughing? You should be doing. You should use your 2 seconds to be doing something. Don't be like throwing out emojis. That is hilarious. Hex, are you back?
I am. We're back. You know how it is. You just got noises and life happening around here. So this whole conversation is pretty good. I like, and I agree with you, Rex, the communication with developers and people like in the field, the experience side, right? And having those conversations, communication clear between everybody, that is going to be the ultimate game, right?
Yep, absolutely. And also this mixed reality and augmented reality. Let's be clear. Developers can communicate with creatives. It's possible. Even with them making now with this update, where now it's accessible, like where Meta is more accessible on mobile and web. So if I want to communicate with one of my creatives that are on Horizon Worlds or something, and I don't have my headset with me, I can communicate with them through my phone on my browser. So it's possible. A lot of the tools are possible. I think as a developer, and which I'm going to do a little bit more, not just being my daily routine of the app updates, things like that, is starting to utilize those tools more to where I'm able to communicate with someone who's really out there in the market with using the app, who's the person I'm trying to make this app for. Because it's one thing to read market data, but it's another thing to really hear it from someone who's actually doing it every day. So, the tools are available. I just wish that the bigger companies would more push it on both sides, where it's developer and creative.
Yeah, I totally agree. I brought up 2 more people, one woman and Webby Social. Webby Social, I know you have your hand up, but I believe one woman was, requested to speak first. So women first. Hi, one woman, come on up. It's good to see you here. Hi.
Thank you for bringing me up, and I really feel kind of as a painter. I'm an artist. Creator, I guess, is the term that everybody's using here. The only thing I wanted to point out is that, I have, since the Quest 3 came out, I bought a Quest 3. I had a 2, and I hated it. I did not like wearing it. It was very uncomfortable and so forth. I got the Quest 3, and the second day I had it on 5.5 hours in beginning to learn how to do 3-dimensional painting, and the experience is beyond anything I could have ever imagined. These are things that we never hear about. and it's really important for the creator to realize that this is out there. It's so and it's so easy to use, and for me, it was comfortable. I mean, yeah, I got a notification that I needed to, plug in my headset. I plugged in my headset and kept right on painting. And I try to work at it almost every day now, for at least an hour every day, painting in 3 dimension. The big thing is how to really effectively show my work, and that's going to come down the road. That's where AR is going to come in, and mixed reality is going to come in, and how artists can show the work that they're developing in their headsets or on their mobile devices, whatever they're using. That's going to, for one thing, selling your work. I can now already use AR to show people in a business or in their home what an actual painting is going to look like in there. And that just changes the whole complexion of finance, of the business side of being an artist. So yeah, this is really important stuff you're talking about, and we don't hear enough about it from the artist side, what they need and how they can develop their skills and their talents for the future. Thank you.
Wow, one woman. Thank you so much for sharing that. I couldn't agree with you more. I love that. I love your input into this conversation, and I also love that review. I do have a MetaQuest 2, and I haven't used it for like over a year, even though I charged it up last week. It's very uncomfortable. It's good to know that the 3 is really comfortable, and you were able to wear it for 5 hours. That's promising. Oh my God, thank you so much for sharing and for coming on up. I really appreciate that. I hope to see you more often, and for sure I'm going to see you weekly at Dope Stilo's Super Saturdays, where we're going to be dancing it up.
Absolutely. I refuse to miss it unless I absolutely have to. I mean, I have to be in the hospital for not to be there.
Oh, okay. I thought you were not 100%. I totally agree. Oh, Webby Social. Thank you so much, one woman. Webby Social, thank you for your patience. Good to have you on. What would you love to share with us?
Hello, can everybody hear me? This is my first time on Spaces, so I'm trying to make sure this works correctly.
Oh, yes, you sound perfect, Webby Social.
Awesome. So, I just want to tie into this conversation. Rex brought up a good point from the developer side of building these applications, and I want to add to that, and I want to get everybody's just a different direction. I know we talk about development, but design. I think design is super important when it comes to developing applications that are Web 2, Web 3, especially in the metaverse as well too, like just doing the layout of user experience, but also in AR. UX, UI is going to be so important for information architect, being able to complete tasks, consistency, but most importantly, accessible to people that maybe are colorblind, right, or have dyslexia in reading, or understanding how objects are in plain sight. And that's something where I think as developers, as we're building these applications, is to always have a user-centered design perspective, right? Well, who is the target audience that I'm creating it with? What is their goals? What are they trying to achieve? How do I make it faster, easier, and simpler for them to make data-driven decisions and have the application to be accessible not only for users but also for applications that are indexing the application, right? Having the right headers, text, alt text, anything like that related to AR. And sometimes as developers, we get a little lazy. We just kind of say, okay, maybe we don't need the alt text, or we don't need to add the help text. But implying and adding all those things will not only create a better application for users, but also for the applications that are integrating these into. So keep that in mind as you guys are building your applications in AR, or especially in the metaverse, right? So many times I go inside these environments and it's like so hard to navigate, or you don't know what's going on. There's no design and so forth. Yes, there are some people that are very tech savvy, right? They can just go in there and just get things done. But there's a lot of people that don't know what they do when they get in there. They don't know the controls. They're not used to it. So take some time as you're building your applications or your metaverses is to add those help texts, add the alt text, add a pop-up modal that says, here, this is what it is, this is what it's about, and help users navigate through that. Because if you do that, they're more likely going to come back and they're going to tell more people and say, hey, I had a great experience. You got to go check out this application. You got to check this. But what happens? What happens when you guys go into a website and it's super slow? What happens when you go to a website and there's a broken link? What happens when you can't find the right information? You don't want to go back to it. And guess what? You're not going to recommend it to friends. So I want to give you that perspective when it comes to designing for technology applications. As a developer, as a UX UI guy, we as a community, let's start thinking about user-centered design as we start building the future. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great. He hit the nail right on the head. That's as a developer when I started, that was kind of the one Achilles heel that I had at first was that, if someone has a headset, they understand it, and they know to press this control trigger and it does something, because I put like a voice actor in there to tell them that. That's not always 100% the case, because like you said, with UI design, you almost have to walk your customer through the entire virtual experience before they even start doing the experience. That's the reason why it's super important to have, like, even what he said, to add on to that is to have like tutorials, like a tutorial walking them through experiencing the app first, because that right there will keep them coming back. Because if they just start using the app and you think they're gonna know what to do, that's not gonna make a great experience. You may get a customer, but you're not gonna get a returning customer. So he hit the nail right on the head, definitely with that.
Yeah, wow. Webby Social, for the first time speaking in a space, you just like came out of the gate running. Thank you so much for that. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, and you got the developer saying absolutely. UI, UX is so important. So very important. Speaking of important, I did find Webby Social's website and I pinned it up to the Nest or Jumbotron, whatever you want to call it. So Webby Social is like, to me, it's the hub for creators. And now that we're talking, I kind of think it could be a hub also for developers to join. Because can you imagine on Webby Social, this is where the dialogue and conversation between creators and developers can start, and collaboration for exactly what we've been talking about here. So I do want to please look into Webby Social, click on their profile, go to their website and look around. And if you are a creator, or like everybody here is a creator. If you are on X or Twitter X, you are a creator. You're creating posts. You're curating posts to reach out to people, to start up conversations. So please feel free, browse through Webby Social, join the beta, and let's all have a great time. Thank you for that, Webby Social.
You're welcome. And I want to add to it, one of our creator types within our website taxonomy is developers. We have, I think, about 6 developers that have already joined. And one of the things that one of the features that we're going to be adding in phase 2, right now we're in phase 1, is the job board. When you set up your profile, I think, you can select if you're open to work or not. So we're going to be tying into B2C, which is business to companies, and they're going to be able to do a job board. So if you're a developer and you want to get hired or showcase, having that thing turned on will allow B2Cs to see your profile, and then you can start looking into your Webby Social profile and say, hey, what is this content creator creating? What does their GitHub look like? What does their website look like? And can I trust them? And that's the one thing that we're looking for right now in this Web3 or even any business, is building trust through our clients, so then we can get also referrals.
Wow, that's exciting. I love that. Building trust is really what that's all about, isn't it? I love that. Lex, I know you've been patiently waiting. What would you love to add?
Just want to kind of echo what Webby's saying, and I really appreciate that. From an HTML narrative, like Web 101, alt tags. If you don't know them, that's what That's what we know as keywords today, alt tags. That was HTML 101. You have a website, if it's one page, if it just scrolls, take the time to put the alt tags. That means this photo, what is it? Boy with ball, car, running, monkey, spaceship, whatever. Because the reality is not all of us are enabled to see the way everyone's seeing, So HTML 101 shows that, where it's like you have to describe the context that you're delivering. There's a lot of people around the world who are disabled in many ways, media-wise, but they're still engaged and they want to know your story. They want to participate in your art. They want to participate in everything that's happening, even today, right now with what we're doing, So we're taking that same model and bringing it over to, to what we're developing on whatever level you are a developer, as Digital Femme said. You're a developer, whether you develop, conversation, context, music, whatever it is. Let's try to, and I'm learning how to do that, how to optimize, our virtual worlds, how to optimize our virtual galleries. And if we don't, let's contact the developers and be like, hey, listen, this is cool, but is this, is this safe? Can my grandma, can my aunt, can my cousin, can anyone see this and participate, or is it just people who are, hearing impaired as well? So taking that and web social, thank you for bringing that up. I want to kind of point to Rex again. Rex, how do you? I think you do a really good job at documenting the stuff that you're doing, and I appreciate you for that. And not just one brand. Like you're showing, the just the capacity of how to really exercise this. Let's take over. Being that we are in an over room, right? Over the reality. How would you suggest, if you can do this, I appreciate it, for people at least in this room and people we're going to be listening to in the future, like what would be the best way for us to reach out to a developer, to reach out to a company and be like, hey, I like what you guys are doing, but look, I'm also a creative, I'm also a content creator, I'm also a developer, within my own right. And I would love to send you some of my content so that you can use it, within your demos. What would be the best way to do that? And the side B of that question is, because the joints are always on the side B, is how can maybe someone like you and artists from over and can say, hey, look, on your next demo that you're on Times Square, can you use what's the best file format that I can send you? So I would love to see it in one of your demos, and to create that bridge. How's it look? Oh, look, this looks really good on Magic Leap, but for some reason this thing it's a kind of a little buggy on XR. Oh, look, it looks amazing on Snap, but for some reason Meta, it's and that way we're all learning at the same time, real time. So I know it's a bit bloated, but I think you're the man for this.
Yeah. Well, to the first part of your question, to reach out to developers, I would say a good place to go is definitely you're gonna find more developers on Discord. Discord is really our hangout. Utilize Discord and really join the Discord channels of the actual companies like Xreal, Magic Leap, Snapdragon, Snap, Meta. There's a lot of Discord channels that you can really reach out to a developer like really right then and there and really set up a conversation around making that happen. Because yes, it's great to go to, I would say, a big development shop, but you really want to go to where they really are. I would suggest another one that's a good one because they do tutorials all the time. Is Blackwell Studio. Blackwell Studio is one that kind of helped me when I first started learning, going from mobile to VR. They helped me a lot as far as with getting my feet wet with VR development, and it's a group of everyone. It's just developers, people that want to create content for VR. That's where they all meet. So utilize Discord, but number two, to your question, the best file format really, because it's going to obviously going to be video. It would be in a video format, similar to like a few demos that I did before. We're able to make it immersive to where your video will now look as if it's playing out literally in the middle of the street of New York. The best way to do that for me is, just send your content over and let's see how it looks. I would say the best devices for that so far, only because I'm in possession of one of them, is Magically X-Real Ultra, really X-Real Ultra specifically. I would really say for me, those are the best ones for your content. To pretty much build awareness that you're moving in the right direction where technology is, which is augmented reality. But yeah, that would be the best way for me to be able to make that happen for you. Did I answer that question?
No, absolutely, 100%. And that's, it's, and again, I didn't mean to put you in a corner, but being that you are doing this, like you're like what Hex says, pose are, you know what I mean? Like you're doing this, and not only doing it, but you're demonstrating, like, hey, you want to watch that football game, you want to do this, I just want it to be more real, you know what I mean? And if you're suggesting that, if someone could, politely create a relationship with you and say, hey, I see the stuff you're doing. Would you like to, where this can open doors to other thing. And now, guess what? The other company that's watching you and going, oh, it's that guy again. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe we need to start fishing creatives out of that, creativity pond, So you said video. That's interesting, right? Do you, by any chance, do you know how heavy that video can be? What is the limit, on what it should hold, or what's the limit? Because, that's when it comes to quality. Is someone going to throw you a 4K video, or is it something maybe under, a gig, under 500 megabytes?
A 4K works great, particularly for Magically because it's more the powerful device. But 4K definitely works. It's really not the capacity of the video or the content per se, because we really work that out through Unity. There's dozens of tools on Unity to be able to pare it down to make it of the same quality when it goes into the device. So that would really be on our end, which I've gotten pretty good at that for the last couple of years.
That's what I'm talking about. That's information that, it's like just out of the pocket for you, but there could be a lot of creatives who haven't reached that point yet. Like, it doesn't just go to an SD card on the lens. It has to go through now, a third-party program where it actually sets the scene. And then go a step further. I don't know, maybe have a geo-reference where it's like now, because of what you did, everybody can share that experience, So listen, I appreciate your knowledge and
absolutely
your time right now.
Absolutely.
Wow, I'm loving this conversation between the developer and the creator. This is like amazing. You guys, it's 11:11, and it was 11. And I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. So these spaces usually run about an hour and a half, not going to lie. And some even go for 3 hours. Not this space, but some other spaces. So I really want to kind of like give everyone the opportunity who are speakers to come up and add more if they want to, or say something else, or ask questions, especially for the listeners in the audience. Do you have anything you want to say? Do you want to add? Ask any of the speakers up there if you want to ask Rex something, or Lex, Tech Mental, Webby Social, One Woman, or even Hexadize. Feel free to raise your hand. But I will say, I don't know. Let's see what Twitter X is doing. It's not.
I do want to shout out One Woman. I heard her last night at K-Bot's space, which if you guys haven't heard it, you should. K-Bot is dope, and that whole environment. And there were some heavy hitters that came up on stage and just flexed their knowledge as well. So that's a really good space that I actually need to go back and hear it some more. But yeah, One Woman, I appreciate what you're doing, and to the degree that you're doing it, where your physical paintings and the way you're demonstrating to maybe your potential clients that, back in the day, you had to send an email or maybe, a link where they can see this. Now you can take it to their home, the actual painting, where it can be over the fireplace, or it can be by the banister, or it could be somewhere else, and they can actually see it in real time. So that's very progressive, and that's very dope, and you're very inspirational. So thank you for your work.
Thank you for pointing that out. I'd also like to point out on that another aspect that I came across by being in spatial, being on a platform, is that I can literally turn my galleries into a private showing area where I actually have people from the physical world get into either a headset or on their computer, come in, and it's just that person and myself touring one or more of my galleries, talking about my art, them letting me know what they're interested in. And I got probably one of the largest sales I've ever had in my life by doing that. So this Web3, well, metaverse, as we were talking about last night, metaverse and Web3 are not necessary. They're not identical. They're not the same thing. And so having a platform in the metaverse has all kinds of benefits, but we do need that mutual cooperation to make it really effective for the people who are coming in new, because a lot of times I spend half my time if I'm in one of my galleries with new people coming in who do not know what the devil they're doing. And so I'm sitting there training them how to use an avatar, how to walk, how to talk, how to whatever. And then if we're lucky, we might get around to us talking about my artwork. So yeah, that is something that really does need to be addressed by the developers of the platforms, because I've been into a few platforms where people have asked me to go and look, to think about opening a gallery there, and I go in and the experience has been so painful trying to figure out how to get around, or the avatars may not, or the structure may not be to this, even remotely appropriate for the work that I do. So yeah, we need a lot more communication between the developers of the platforms and the people who are going to be using it.
100%.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you for that shout out to one woman, Lex. I actually posted her gallery up at the Nest/Jumbotron and live streaming it in on video. So you can't really get the full experience. One woman, would you like to share the link to Spatial for your gallery? If you can put it in the comments, and I can pin it up. But yeah, we had a really great time. I believe it could have been even maybe a month ago now, but it was her debut for the art gallery, and you'll be able to see her real life paintings. Uh-oh. All right, so that's fantastic. Let me just scroll through here. Does anybody go on?
Can I explain something first? What you have showing up here is actually one of my homes. It's got some 4 pieces of my art in there, but it's a home that I opened up just recently, and Stilo came in actually the morning I was opening it up and said, "Oh, this is cool. It's a Wednesday. Let's do the show here." And so that was to that. So this is actually one of my homes, not one of my full galleries, but it does have my original artwork, and this is all original work. The link I put in is to my main gallery in Spatial. It's called the Metaverse Art Gallery, and you'll see really some of what I consider some of my best work.
Oh my God, thank you for clarifying that. So are you telling me we crashed? We crashed your pad? We were uninvited?
You crashed my pad.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun. It was like a dream come true to have you guys all crashing in. I mean, literally, I opened it at 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Zelo came in at 10:30, and at 2:00 we had the Wednesday event.
Oh my guys, that's what happens in the metaverse. And I believe Hexadives was there. I remember that. He was dancing up, and I think his wine stain is still
It's
there. I think you
still there. It's probably still there.
Yeah. I can't see it. You did a really good job cleaning it up. That's amazing with the erase tool. I love that. Oh my God, one woman, this is your home?
Yeah, that's my home.
Wow, okay.
That's my metaverse home. I've actually got two. This is my newest one. I also have one that is incredibly heavy because it's called my island home, because prior to moving back north, I lived down in the Florida Keys for almost 15 years. And so it's a really, that in my heart, that is still my home. And so I have this one, just the template that they had on Spatial, and it's got my iguana, it's got all my animals, it's got all my plants, it's got my artwork, and and it is so heavy that a lot of people can't even get in. So I just go there, and you can sit there and you hear the ocean and the surf, and you hear the seabirds singing. It's just, I love it. And I've got all my parrots and my giant herons. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. No,
it's amazing what you can do in the metaverse. It really is.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm looking at that. You can even crash people's pads, man, and have a whole full-on party of strangers you didn't even know, and then you find them later on an X space. The same, the suspects. There's Hex right there. Spilled some wine. There he is, right there. Now there he is. Not pointing.
And he comes to spill wine in my space anytime you want to, Hex.
Hey, just talk to Alter. You really never know. There's a metaverse stalker out there that just like randomly takes pictures of people's stuff, especially and you never know. You'll just see them. They'll just start following around. Just ask Alter about it. Like Haunted Alley. It's gonna get funky. But yeah, no. This is what we do. We love it, and we're glad that you have the galleries that we can go through, because it's you're one of those profiles that we can go to. You can just keep on clicking, right? And yeah.
Another thing, because if you go into my home or my art gallery that I've linked here, there are portals to all my other spaces. So you can go from one portal, and each of my spaces has portals to all my other spaces. So, it's a wonderful way, an easy way to get around in Spatial, is using portals.
That's the beauty of it, right? You can just, once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
To the metaverse. That's how we get you. It's like metaverse trap houses. It's terrible. We shouldn't go down that road. This was a clean family show until I got you. Why'd you let me up here and grab a mic? Mute me, did you?
No, Hex, this is cool. I'll add the disclaimer. And nothing here said is financial advice. Sometimes it's not safe for kids. Although this guy has an army of kids. I don't even know what he's talking about. But I guess, I don't know, like they're probably off to homeschool somewhere at the corner of his mansion. I have no idea what he does with his kids. I do know what he did with his kids earlier on, though. He threw them in the back of a Suburban, trying to get all the over tokens. But that's another story. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Altered Alley. And who else do we have here? Joe Sawyer Crypto. Is he still here? Yes, he is. Yeah, so Joe, down there, Joe with the derby, and I know it's probably not a derby, it's a bowler hat derby. I think it's a bowler hat. He calls it a bowler hat. He is coming up with 13 haunted hexes for obviously Halloween on Over the Reality. So hexes, he calls it hexes because it's hexagons, overlands that had divided the world. You got to follow Joe. He's putting out these teasers. It's incredible. This guy, and also Metaverse Mints and Hexadives, they do a lot of themed experiences on over the reality, in addition to spilling over to spatial. And talking about spilling over to spatial, Altered Alley was one of the original OG creators for over the reality, and he spilled over to spatial and everywhere else in the metaverse. So Altered Alley, he even has a new space called Tattoo Metaverse. That's exciting. And oh, look, and also we have MetaMike from Spatial, and Era X Lab and K-Bots, also regular spatial that often comes about. And we see these people. We see these people in different spaces sharing out their content and their insights on the future of. It's really exciting. And guess who just sauntered in? Stilo. Stilo. So one woman, where is she? One woman was up here talking about, we were talking about one woman's art gallery, and I shared one of her spaces, and I thought it was the art gallery, only to find out that it was actually one of her new homes that she had just opened up, and that you literally sauntered in, and then you said, oh, this looks cool, let's have a party. So basically we crashed. Stilo, I did not know that literally it was because of you that we crashed one woman's new home. We had that party, I think it was a month ago.
It that style it's like the people that go and throw those like actual underground raves, the cave raves or the alley raves, or it's just at random. There's no, it's just you get a text. That's it. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go over here. Boom, boom. And somebody had how they get all those lights and speakers and stuff set up. To be honest, that's like amazing because they can go all out real quick. Bam. But that's beside the point. But that's Stilo in the metaverse. That's it. That's what I see just now. Is like I even see it out in LA. They start crashing these giant mansions. That's Stilo in the maze. He's like, look, by the time we get done, we tagged it up. It's like it was your house, our house now. You can have it back though. We're done. Beautiful place.
I see that happening. I know that Steele's got his whole rig. Like literally in the metaverse, it's easy. I guess you can just like have your whole rig as a file, and then you plop it up and then upload it, or just drag and drop. Man, I love these drag and drop features. And there it is. There's his whole rig, his whole setup and everything. So if you don't know, Dope Stilo, he is a real DJ, and he's also a creator / developer ish. I'm going to say, and he's created some really great spaces on Unity. He's learning Unity, but it seems like he's kind of like been in the Unity for a while. So I know Rex, you may not have known him, but he's there. He's every Wednesday we have a party in the metaverse. And you know what I love about this? He features different spaces, so you get to see, oh my God, all the fantastic spaces. Just yesterday, we saw Rick the Ruler's space. It was crazy. I was like on a zip line. Like it was fantastic. So please follow. You know what? I will actually remember to share the Super Wednesday spatial link with you.
Please.
Because it's fantastic. Guys, it's a 5 minutes to the hour and a half mark. I appreciate everybody here. I really do. I love Lex just talking it up. And yeah, you're a really great co-host. You should anyway, we'll talk behind the scenes. Does anybody else want to say anything before we close the space? What's he giving me a second?
Can I make one shout out to my friend Era?
Of course.
Because this woman has created so much in spatial and outside of spatial. She develops spaces, but she has developed auras and dancing and movements that we can do. It's because of her that we actually can dance in spatial now. She started the whole thing. And I have probably 50 dances in my backpack because of her. And I have meditation moves. I can do the sunrise routine in yoga because of her now. So she is really an incredible talent, and we're very fortunate in spatial to have her with us.
Wow.
So I just want to shout out to her.
I got a tag on it, Dizzy. Because I'm wearing the gold ring thing with that gold 3 thing. And so for the Web3 Artist Awards coming up, and if we're talking about Era, she's taking the lead and really, so the virtual side, so major props on spearheading in, because to be honest, as soon as I saw who is doing it was like, oh, this is gonna be this is about to get crazy, insane good. It made my day to see that she's in charge of the virtual side and heading up and leading that. So so Web3 Artist Awards is coming up. That's it. Just Web3 Artist Awards, and shout out here for spearheading that and taking that lead on everything over there. That's it.
I love you, Hex. I'm so glad. Yeah, absolutely. You knew you what the hell? You and Lex are in my head. Lex and Hex and Rex. Wow. That's crazy. Lex, Hex, and Rex. What is that? No, I couldn't agree with you more, one woman. I've met Ira. Actually, I got to meet Ira through a Twitter space. She came into one of these Thursday over weekly Twitter spaces. Her and Metamike. I thought they were like a pair, a team, a couple like Brover and Strawberry. But I've learned about Ira, and she's like fantastic. And yeah, I was wondering what that gold thing was you were wearing around your PFP Hex, but I get it. The Web3 awards. And yeah, Ira is the director of. So we'll learn more about that in the upcoming Tech Tuesday spaces. But yeah, I'm sharing. Please, one woman, you're absolutely right. The amount of creativity that this woman puts out, and it's what is she? She's a content creator. She's like a creator. She's an artist. She's a musician. All her animations are insane. It looks like the way she designs these avatar clothing. She's also like a fashion designer extraordinaire. I know she's helped so many other people create spaces. It's fantastic. Like Ira, I could not. She even gave me wings. She's just fantastic. We will be hearing more about the Web3 awards in another space on Tech Talk Tuesday, and I'm going to bring up Hex. Is that okay with you, Ira? Of course it is. I also want to hear about Altered Alley's tattoo metaverse. Oh, yay! Ira's gonna speak. Papa. Welcome, Ira. I'm so excited.
Wow, I cannot believe, guys. You're just making my day. And I'm just sitting here outside watching this huge wind because of this hurricane. And I hope you can hear me. That's all I hope for, because my connection has been on and off. But oh my gosh, this is my favorite group. This is my favorite people. Carmen, One Woman, Stilo. Metamike, I see Altered. Love you so much. Thank you. And Creative Owls here. I see Webby Social. I'm so proud and so happy to be part of everybody's business here.
That's true. You are. It's true, you are. And you know what? I've always loved when I first heard your voice. When I first heard your voice, you were like giving me like spy vibes, like Russian hot woman spy vibes. Like, ooh, you know what I'm talking about? Like agent, I don't know what. Yeah, you conjure up 007 Bond girl. That's what you are to me, one of the Bond girls.
That's interesting, because sometimes, yes, I do associate people by voice. I'm very sensitive in my ears, so I'm very, very kind of picky of who I speak with, who I communicate with, and if it resonates with me deeply, I love to be in your space, because you resonate to me, to my senses so well. Like, I just like to hear you, and sometimes you don't hear yourself. Today I was at the spatial space where I was listening to my own interview that was streamed in spatial. And I actually sometimes don't listen to my own stuff, because first of all, I already know what I said. Why would I waste my time? But today I was supporting this group, and they streamed the interview that I gave. And I truly enjoyed listening to it. It was so good. And it was in Russian as well. I just posted it. The last post, it was in Russian. I said many interesting things about spatial. Basically, Spatial is my favorite platform. I've tried so many, and I have all the people that I love here that I connected through the years, and then just this is the best time of, I think, my life. I've done so much in my life, but this is the best because I feel like I can be me finally and be make many people happy as well and see how happy they are. Like one woman said, she has all these dances and we do enjoy them, and there's so much more to do and just like no limit for me. And I feel like this is my space where I can open my wings and just keep on doing, keep on delivering some stuff that you know uh, future technology that is a big part of our lives, right, Carmen?
Yeah, Ira, I love that Bond girl. I hope you don't mind I'm calling you Bond girl. Maybe that's old. Maybe it's like I don't know, is James Bond still relevant in today? That's what you've got this amazing accent and I would totally pay you if you just whispered in Russian and English for ASMR. I totally pay you. That's a thing, Ira. That's a thing. And stop laughing. I know you guys are laughing. But right, one woman?
That's so funny because the project by what's his name, Songs of Eden, right? He's making songs with the, I think, 50 artists involved, and they all bring their own language. And I speak fluently a few languages, so I usually give him like a word of something from that song in Russian. So he always waits for my word. He's like, I got it, I got it. So it's funny. So the last song that they produced was the Moon, because they're about to celebrate this event happening in real life where the artwork is going to be sent to the moon, and it's called, I think, Moon Mars Project or something like that. And they made a song for it. So I think like so many artists joined that song. And if you guys want to be part of it, it's an amazing experience. So all you have to do is just record your voice with the word that they're going to give you, and in different languages. And they put it all together. Carmen, you're next, okay? I'll hook you up.
Okay, I hope there's only an English spot. I can only speak English. And of course, a spy would learn more languages. Of course, I know. Anyway, you guys, we're kind of going off into a tangent and it's getting a little bit like blah. But Ira, I know you're so busy, but the fact that you had the time to come up and speak and grace us with your beautiful voice, I'm so lucky, and I'm so happy that one woman came up to speak and I got to really speak with her. Sorry that we crashed your space, but now I actually bookmarked your house, so I might be like just stopping by and just chilling and relaxing for a bit. So if you see someone with green hair with 2 swords on her back, that's me. Yeah, guys, it's already. I want to keep. I keep saying I want to be respectful of your time, but I guess we're still hanging out here. So woohoo! I'm gonna end soon. We're gonna end this. And is there any other spaces? I know the Derby one was here, and he has this philosophy and AI space with his partner Anna Pan, and I never make it because there's another space that's happening, and I can't even remember what. I'm just talking to myself. Anyway, giving you guys one more minute in case you want to say any last words. Do you? Hex, Lex, Rex?
I just want to say thank you for the space. Sorry if I interrupted somebody. I just want to say thanks for the space and getting everybody together again, obviously learning every time one of these spaces. And I want to say thank you to Ira, which I didn't know she was my neighbor in Miami, which is awesome. And thank you for walking me through White World Spatial this morning and collecting those 10 avatars. Oops, did I just say there's 10 avatars in Spatial and White World, fabricating space. But anyways, I hope everyone's safe out there. I appreciate Rex. Thank you for answering all the questions. Everybody else on this forum, I appreciate your work. Keep developing. Peace.
Yes.
Thanks.
Just one more thing from me is just
Appreciate this spaces. I thank everybody just for having me on and everything, and keep creating. It's still early. A lot of tools out there. Let's make it happen.
Love it. What about you, Webby Social? Are you still with us? He's developing. Hey, Webby Social, do you have any last things you'd love to share with us before we go? I heard you, and then it seemed like your mic was muted.
I said, keep building the future.
Yeah, that's right. We keep building the future, and that's exactly what we're doing. It's a great time to be alive, and it's a great time to be able to connect with everybody here in the space and different spaces as well. This is like fantastic. Great last words for this space, Webby Social. And congrats on your first time speaking up in a space. I'm very honored. One woman, I want to hear from you before we go.
This has been great. I have on occasion just stopped in briefly and never been able to spend time in this space, and I'm so grateful I did today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for letting me be part of it. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I feel so lucky. Today's my lucky day. You know why? Because number one, you joined. First of all, number one, everybody else joined and the tech worked. Number two, you joined one woman, and it's so great to hear and have you on here. Number one, this is Webby Social's first space that they spoke at, so I feel very honored. Number two, Ira came up and spoke. I love that. And in addition to, I just want to mention, so when OpenAI released their advanced voice mode for Chat GPT-4. I kind of like tested it yesterday, and OMG. I know you need a paid account, I believe, to use it. But so I did have a paid account, so I am just all over that. So if you do have a paid account for OpenAI's ChatGPT-4, just test it out. It's fantastic. Like well, I'll hear more about that later. You'll be hearing more about that later. Hex, I'm giving you the last spot.
Oh man, so CryptoCam has their spot tonight with that they're gonna have Maximilian on one of the artists she'll be on talking tonight, as well as there will probably be other people that join up there. He usually has a pretty scheduled space, but at the same time he gives this space for open mics as well. So that's every Thursday, but tonight is Maximilian over there coming up here in a couple hours, I believe.
Oh my God, thanks for mentioning that.
Right now too, but I don't remember.
I know.
Right?
Right, there's Thursdays so busy and Wednesdays and Tuesdays, so I'm literally glued to this seat all the time. But is there something else you wanted to share other than sharing other people's stuff?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to. I just wanted to say thanks, and this has been going on. And I'm not holding your time up anymore because I love you so much, and this has been a great space. Thank you.
Oh, I love you too, Hex. Like, we've got such a history. It's incredible. All right. Let's go. Before we go, I want to do a shout out to it's Thor's Thursday. So there's a guy with a, I don't know, like a peach background, and looks like he's sprouting the new Orion glasses with the Justin Bieber hair. He's Thor's from the Xenomaniacs community. He does Thor's Thursdays marbles on Twitch. I can send you guys the link or follow him, and he'll be shouting out the link. And we actually that's what's happening. So Thor's Thursdays, you can win NFTs, you can win crypto. We also have a simultaneous space hosted by Rosemary Oakley of the Maniac Xeno community. I got to do a shout out to the Xeno community, man. Thank you so much for joining. Thor's Mark D. Xenu, you are here. I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Tom from Facebook. No, from what? I forgot. MySpace. Thank you. I'm so glad Tom from MySpace is here. So glad you're still alive. You do need to update that PFP. We know you aged. Kush, you're here. Thank you so much. T2 and F Sane, you're still here. Thank you so much. Brover, where is Strawberry? There she is. Swavery, all out in Toronto. My guy, my TO brother. Thank you so much. One existence. Virtual X, so good to see you. All right, I'm shouting out to everybody, and then we'll never end the space. Elias, is Elias having something on Thursdays or is that Tuesdays? There's so many things going on. Conrad, I see you. Thank you. Honeycomb. Yes, we have a meeting also tonight. It's insane. All right. Um, I do have one more thing. If you are going to follow Stilo on Super Wednesdays, just be prepared that you may be crashing somebody's space. Just saying. And if you're okay with that, then you're okay with that. All right, everyone. Have a great Thursday. And if I don't see you during the week, have a great rest of your week and happy weekend. Wow, it's October. All right. Ciao, ciao, everyone. I don't even know if I should play any music right now. Do I even have music? All right. Okay. Bye. Thank you for joining. Please follow all the speakers and each other because we need to have that hub for creators and developers to get together because we're building out the future, like what Webby Social said. Ciao, ciao.